Jackie, Tim and Joel on Nova.
Well, you've been everywhere, man. As has our Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, who's joining us on the phone. Where are you today, Albo?
I've been in Adelaide, Hobart, and I've just landed back in Sydney.
Wow.
Yesterday I was in Sydney, Perth and Adelaide.
Yes.
And the day before I was at Uluru and Port Lincoln. So it's been a very busy time.
I mean, Prime Minister, what do you like? Are you a coffee man? What keeps you going?
Oh, I have to have my at least one coffee, but if I'm going to do true confessions here, it's usually more than one coffee in the morning to get going.
You're allowed to say
Usually
that. You're on this show on a Friday. Generally, we have a beer and a coffee cup, so
Yeah.
you're allowed to. You're allowed to say. You're allowed to say
As
you
you
have.
should on a Friday afternoon. It's after 4. It's sort of beer o'clock comes earlier on a Friday.
Endorsed by the PM, bosses. Endorsed by the
Yeah,
PM.
go for
Agree
it.
more, Prime Minister.
Can I just ask quickly, because we will get on to serious matters in a sec, but who's got Toto when you're never at home?
I have a shared custody system with that little dog. So some of the time she's at my ex's Carmel's, and most of the time she's with me when I'm around. But when I'm travelling, then Toto. Yeah, she has lots of volunteers as puppy sitters. Let me tell you, so, and she's happy with whoever she's with as long as they're feeding her
Yes.
and giving her cuddles.
Although I did see the footage of you playing cricket with Fitzy and Whipper and Kate and
Yeah,
the
did
other
they
day.
behave?
But also because Toto just followed you around that whole game, and that's why I played the last
and
year, she
she
didn't leave your
runs with
side
me
either.
as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
She
So
runs. I reckon I should get 2 for every run because there's me and Toto both running
Well,
up
Joel,
and back.
didn't Melania Trump? But didn't we all think she had a body double? So maybe,
I know, yeah.
maybe our Prime Minister's dog has the body double.
Hot demand.
No,
I see you're not
she's,
commenting on that. I get that. That's fine.
No, she's one of a kind. No, she of course doesn't know, like a lot of dogs, doesn't know that she's a dog.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
Thinks
just like
very
my
much
dog.
She's got a person. She's a person.
So where are
Yeah,
you going to be for tomorrow, Albo? What's your day look like tomorrow, referendum day?
Tomorrow I'll start off in my electorate, and then I'm travelling to Wollongong. I'm doing some booze there, and then I'm travelling to Canberra. So it's going to be a very busy day, and one I sincerely hope that Australians do vote for what's a really simple proposition, just asking for recognition in our Constitution of the fact that people were here before 1788, and we've got that 65,000 years of history, the oldest continuous culture on earth. It should be a source of great pride. And then it's simply a non-binding advisory committee. That's all the voice is, the opportunity to listen to Indigenous Australians about matters that affect them, because that's how you get better results. If you talk to people who are impacted by policies, you'll get better outcomes.
Yeah, is that the one thing you'd say to those that are still at this point undecided?
Yeah, I'd say 2 things. One is there's absolutely nothing to fear here. And there's been a whole range of the fear campaigns is all about things that aren't to do with the referendum, which to me shows there's no weakness in what's actually being put forward. It's legally sound. It's a clear proposition. And secondly is that this hasn't come from politicians. This is a gracious request from Indigenous Australians who met at Uluru in a constitutional convention in 2017 after more than 5 years of consultations and meetings involving thousands of people. 250 delegates came together there, and they asked in the Uluru statement for Australians to take this action, as the Uluru statement says, to overcome the torment of powerlessness, of them being alienated from their own country and being able to be heard. And we know that we're living in now today And we know there's an 8-year life expectancy gap. There's a greater chance of an Indigenous young male going to jail than going to university. Twice the suicide rate. Twice the chance of a young woman who's Indigenous dying in childbirth. We can do better than this. And this offers hope and optimism for the future. It's a request from Indigenous Australians to us. And it won't impact 97% of Australians. Won't be impacted.
Well, that's
by
the
this
thing. That's what
at
I always
all.
think too. Like obviously I care, but when you think that 80% of the Indigenous population want this, surely that's all I need to know. But also,
that's right. It's it won't impact you or me directly, our lives. It won't affect directly my son's life.
No.
What it will do though is provide opportunity for Indigenous Australians, and if we're not going to recognise them in our nation's birth certificate, basically now, when are we going to get around to doing it? Every other former colony in the world has done that. So I really hope
the ice cream truck's there.
The conversation there.
Referendums don't have a good track record, right? And obviously the polls the polls are real Debbie Downers. But you've been actually out there. We've just listed all the places you've been. What are you feeling the result will be tomorrow? Like genuinely, after speaking to everybody from literally every corner of Australia, what are you feeling?
Been working hard.
Look, I feel that people who I've spoken about, and I've been in every state and territory in the land in the last week, people I've spoken to who look at the question overwhelmingly say yes. There's no reason to vote no, unless you say, yep, this is as good as it gets, everything's fine. I respect that people will make their own decisions, and some people might say you should never change the Constitution. I've met a couple of people who've said that. That's fine. That's a decision to be made. But this is a once-in-a-generation chance. This is the first referendum we've had this century, literally. And, it mightn't come around again, and it's about showing respect. But the other thing I'd say is that, remember when we had the apology to the stolen generations in 2008, there was this big fear campaign then too. It was going to result in all these consequences. Marriage equality was going to mean that people would marry the Harbour Bridge. And
I did propose to the Harbour Bridge, and I'm still waiting on my response from the bridge, from the coat hanger.
From the bridge.
I think we make a good couple.
All the fear campaigns, when women were given the vote, which the first place that happened, of course, was in South Australia, where I was this morning. There was a campaign then that sounded very similar to the campaign now. Some women don't support it. That was true at the time, but overwhelmingly they did, like overwhelmingly Indigenous Australians do now. There was a thing of, this will take away the rights of men, will be the losers in this. So men should not vote for this to happen. Overwhelmingly, again, that was a complete nonsense. Just like the fear campaigns on marriage equality, on the apology. People, when we wake up on Sunday, if Australians vote yes tomorrow, people will wake up and nothing will be lost by anyone, but just something will be gained for the first Australians. And we'll all feel, I think, better about ourselves as a nation. So I sincerely hope that people take the opportunity to vote yes tomorrow.
Yeah, the sun's still going to rise and still going to set at the same time, and I'm still going to be on the couch watching Real Housewives of Sydney. It's not going to affect me at all.
Exactly.
Hey,
Which I'm assuming you haven't had time to catch up on.
No, they will send it to you. You've got watermark copies. You can send it to him.
Yeah. I'll send you some.
I've just got to say quickly, it's a very big day tomorrow, not just the Yes campaign, but it's also the Radio Awards. So once you get your result at around, 6-ish, we'll be hitting the stage at the ICC in Sydney. Surely you endorse Ricky Lee, Tim and Joel to be our best on-air team at the Radio Awards tomorrow.
Good luck. Absolutely. Do I get a vote in that?
Oh my gosh.
It's PM, I reckon. I get a vote in the ARIA Awards. That's always good fun.
Yeah.
Every year. So.
All right. Well, unfortunately, I think the voting's closed for the Radio Awards, but at least we know that we've got your backing.
We'll say it on stage.
Yeah, we'll say it
Thank
on
you,
stage.
Prime Minister.
Exactly. Yeah, Yeah, exactly. You feel very welcome because you guys all do a great job.
Thanks, mate. Well, I'll see you for a sausage in our electorate tomorrow. And I know the campaign's done, but I think this LCD sound system song would have been a good one for the Yes campaign because it's just yeah.
Fantastic.
See you, Bo. Good luck.
See you later. Thanks, guys. Have a great
Thank
weekend,
you.
everybody. Right, yeah.
Okay.